Hey, what's going on, Shawn? How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, man. Doing actually pretty good considering ain't no football, basketball happening right now.
Hey, there's basketball happening. There's the summer league, so yes, there is basketball happening.
Like I said, considering it's not really any basketball happening right now, you know what I'm saying? I noticed you mentioned the summer league, but you didn't mention the WNBA. You know what I mean?
Yo, Devon, what up? What's good? But yeah, man. Hey, I don't mention I do not mention the WNBA. You are absolutely right. The WNBA might as well not exist, as far as I'm concerned. Um,
Yeah.
it's not a. It's just simply not an entertaining product. Um, to keep it simple. Um,
Well, I only brought it up just to mention this, man. Because I really don't want to have to talk about the WNBA thing again, you know. But
Jerry, what
let's
it
be
do?
real, man. Um, there's more people watching summer league right now than are watching the WNBA, and that says all that needs to be said about about the situation that's going on in the WNBA.
Hey,
So
man. I mean, that is a different conversation. But
that's
let
the end of
like,
the conversation, Mark. There is
yeah,
no
you're right. You're
conversation.
absolutely right. That's the end of the conversation. Summer League is more entertaining than the WNBA right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll delve into that one day, but it won't be today. One thing I do want to delve into is I want to talk about I do want to talk about the PGA Tour and today uh, how they were at the Senate today for a hearing um, about their merger, I air quotes, with the Live product. So uh, got this article from AOL today. I'm just gonna pull it up here real
Oh, you
quick.
got it.
Um, yeah. Um, so so PGA Tour went to the Senate today to basically talk about their merger. The um, Basically, the Senate has questions about the merger, um, like about the fact that this is backed by a Saudi company, the Live tournament and everything, and they don't. Essentially, they have questions about a Saudi company having influence in a United States driven sport. So that's the basic gist of it. Um, if I really want to get into it today, the co-commissioner appeared, Ron Price. He appeared today at the Senate, and and basically what he said was, this is his quote. He said, "We face the real threat that the Live Golf Tournament, which 100% financed by the Kingdom of Saudi, would become the leader of professional golf." So this was actually becoming a real big deal, apparently. Like that
Yeah.
PGA was kind of afraid that they weren't like that they were going to get priced out. Because what this article goes on to say is that essentially the Saudis have an endless amount of money to the tune of like 600 billion or so, and the PGA just simply can't compete. And so they're like, yeah, they might steal five players here, but like they'll keep doing that every single year, because they can keep throwing money at it, and and they don't have the ability to do that. Um, but yeah, Sean, this was the other topic I wanted to talk about. I couldn't
Oh,
remember,
okay.
but this was the other topic that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. We
Um,
could get to that in a minute.
yeah,
Yeah, we see.
I,
I'm gonna look at Devon's comment here. He said the PGA's been cheap for too long. Uh,
yeah, and
it,
like that.
it's
Go
a
ahead, Sean.
common theme. It's a common theme with all of these leagues right now. The o- the first two, the only two leagues that been ponying up the money, has been basketball and baseball. They've been sharing the revenue, right? And it seems like a lot of these other leagues, whether you want to call it college football, all these other places where they've been getting away with being cheap for so long, it's finally coming back to bite them in the ass. Boxing, you got people watching boxers fight MMA dudes or fight YouTube stars. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with MMA. So, but yeah, but the thing is, not only is have you not really seen the purses go up for golf for the PGA, but let's be honest, they don't spend a lot of money on advertising as well. Um, these guys, unless you were Tiger Woods, who in the height of Tiger Woods, he made more money, a lot more money off of his endorsements than he ever did in golf. You got somebody or a country flashing a bunch of money saying, "Hey, we trying to give you a baseball contract." You know what I'm saying? You would like the pressure is now on. The pressure is now on. You gotta do something. And in their situation, the numbers were so high that they had to
Yeah.
do something immediately. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a leg to stand on. Like you said, poaching 5 or 6 guys year after year when they have an endless amount of money. Yeah, they're absolutely right. It was going to become a problem. But here lies the dilemma that they're bringing up in Congress is you have on one hand, which one is worse? Them getting all of the golfers and then kind of slowly just bleeding you slow, or them coming in, making the deal with the PGA, and then making it seemingly so, especially when the head of the PGA, it's like, hey, look, man, I had to do something. I know what it looks like. It looks like we're just taking money and allowing them to have influence because of the money, but I had to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
so you got the immediate impact, and then you have the slow impact. Which one is worse? They're both terrible, Mark.
and here's a quote when asked by the senator about did they um, look into any other ways of investment or financing to help with the PGA Tour. This was the answer that the co-commissioner gave. He said we considered that, commissioner, but had we gone down that path, we would still be fighting the very expensive and disruptive litigation. Um, so um, so that also speaks to that Live and the PGA Tour are also in a they are currently in a litigation, basically about one blocking the other, and so this merger would stop the litigation, obviously.
Yeah,
So so this was going to help them in multiple ways, and but the senator goes on to say, and if you had won, you would have prevailed. Like if you continue with the litigation, you would have prevailed, and then Liv would have been out of here, and it would have just been you guys. So why not just continue on with that? And this is where Price says, "Listen, that wasn't certain that we would have prevailed." And he's like, Live Golf would have continued to recruit our players and put our tour in jeopardy, and they could have become the leader of professional golf and operated it for the benefit of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And see, that's where I guess this merger could actually be a good thing,
yeah,
because because if Liv was to win the litigation, or then they could have just keep poaching players or whatever, and then when they
yeah,
become the leader, now all operations within this professional sports, which largely operates in America, is all
yeah,
going to fund stuff over in the Kingdom of Saudi, and then they could push whatever agenda or whatever they would like behind it. Now, with this merger, the way that it's supposed to be written, which this article also states, is the fact that it is that they will not be able to do that. Uh, they won't be able to. They won't be able to promote anything. Like pretty much, they're just an investment company, so they're like just there to make money. This will all still be ran
yes,
by the PGA. It supposedly so all this will still be ran by the PGA. PGA will fund all, will do all things and all that. So like essentially, Live is just like here, like now, Live, you're just making money off of us instead of you could having any controlling say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
this is
but I still understand why the courts are still like, hey,
yeah,
I understand why the courts are still like, hey, so you're telling me they're just going to be a silent partner, but with the amount of money that they have to poach the players, who's to say that they won't be able to influence you as the leaders, with the
right,
amount of money that they have, right? And especially if you're doing this to ward them off from poaching the players. I mean, this happens in business all the time. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring up one of my boys, Matt. The dude that you was going back and forth with, Matthew Petty. He
mm-hmm.
he was doing a mobile vehicle tinting service for a while. He taught a few people. Every time he taught somebody how to do it, so he could have an employee, they took everything that he taught them and then became the competition, right?
Right,
This happens all the time. So who's to say that they're not okay? Yeah, they're just investors right now, but who's to say that they're not soaking up the game slowly? Silently picking off players and then saying, "Look, we're just gonna." Then one day, boom, they snatch up a bunch of guys and then they're gone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many bad scenarios in this case, but I do understand the court saying, "Look, man, go through us, man. Go through us. We might we our best interest is in the best interest of the country. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to have them come over here and take over anything that has our American culture stamp on it. So if you just came to us at the beginning, everything would have been cool because at that point we have the best interest. But the problem, Mark, is nobody trusts the government.
right. And they're saying today, like they're saying today's hearing, they was basically saying today's hearing is about much more than a game of golf. It's about how brutal a repressive regime can buy influence, and that's essentially their fear. Their fear is that them buying into the PGA is them buying influence into America and stuff like that. Like, and they continue on to say that like because one of the things that is written into this contract that if this deal goes through, like all the disparaging things that and disparaging remarks that the PGA and people and the people like that were saying about this regime and about the Saudis or whatever, like that it's written into the contract that stops. Like you
Yeah,
can't say shit about shit. Like
contractually,
they
yeah,
could do whatever or say whatever they want, and but after this, you can't talk.
yeah.
Um,
And then essentially they can just get them up out of there. You know what I'm
right?
saying? Business wise, and say, look, you're no longer allowed to be an investor. So,
Yeah,
what do they say? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's what it seems like to me.
yeah. And it says the NFL has a Saudi owner, but they didn't say anything there. That's an interesting point. They didn't. Go ahead, Sean.
Now, it, I'm trying to remember if he's an American citizen or not. I think he's speaking about the Jaguars
Yeah,
owner.
let's talk about the Jags owner.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was
No,
even
is it the
American
Jags
citizen. He might
owner?
have been a
No, it
Canadian.
is
I
the
don't
Jags
even
owner.
know.
It is the
Um,
Jags owner.
yeah, I know
I
for
don't.
a fact it's a Jags owner because they bring him up all the time when they talk about minority owners. That's
Right.
that's the only reason why I know. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a good point there. But I think the situation is different because I don't think he's a Saudi citizen, and he's
Yeah.
not
So
part of a big Saudi conglomerate that is putting together trillions of dollars to try to have influence. It's a slightly different situation. He came in as a solo person, bought a team. He did not come in as a group of billionaires and trillionaires. But yeah,
he's saying I don't think he's a part of the Saudi government, so that
yep,
is
yeah, exactly.
irrelevant.
But that's kind of what I'm
Like
trying to say.
he
So yeah,
operates
he
as an
don't got those
individual.
ties. He don't got those ties. Uh,
But yeah. So but anyway, moving on moving on into that, they go on to talk about um about their different connections and about and and how they will move forward with this merger. Um, um, I personally just find it somewhat interesting that that the about face the PGA Tour has made, and we know that the PGA Tour, like something that Jerry brought up, is that the PGA Tour has been exposed about how their own practices with money, and like they're going through their own shit like separately, and now like they're jumping through all these hoops and stuff like that. One of the things that the players are looking for, if this deal goes through, they want the CEO of the live tournament, uh Joe Norman, they want him to step down. He can no longer be the CEO if this deal was to go through. um he's obviously fighting that, but that's one of the things that they're looking for, if this was to happen. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
well, this is the thing, man. I'm like, think about this, man. I'm at work, right? I'm telling my boss or all of the people around me, all the employees are like, yo, man, we need more money. And they're just like, look, man, the price is the price. That just is what it is. It's market. Like, where else are you gonna go, man? We setting the market here. You know what I'm saying? Either you take the money that we giving you, which is good money, or y'all could leave, right? And then finally, that or you can leave part comes up, and then all of a sudden say, hold on, wait. You know what I'm saying? Now they go into court to try to, and then it's like, okay, cool, you did all that. Now let's talk about that money again, man. Let's talk about that money again, because you did all of that, and you're not saying it's to stop us from making money, but it's to stop us from taking money that might cause a problem. So if money seems to be the biggest part of all of this happening, then shoot, break us off some bread, man. Stop playing with us,
Yeah,
man. And rightfully so, though, that they'll be talking to him like that. So I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with all this stuff, man. Money wise, because I mean, in golf, they've never been in my opinion, they've never been paid enough. But
yeah. Well, uh, McDonald versus McDowell coming to America competition.
hey, that's funny. That's funny.
That's
That's a
good.
good one.
But yeah, man. This is just this is mainly just something that'll be interesting to watch to see how it goes down. Because players are basically saying that there's a general feeling of a betrayal um from the management.
Mhm.
Basically, player players are like, you went from saying you support terrorism if you go over there, to now joining forces with these people in less than a year.
They were talking crazy,
Like,
crazy. Before
like
any players even made any commitments or nothing, they was talking crazy, Mark. They was talking
so
crazy, like, go ahead if you want to, you traitor. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
exactly. You
with the
hate your
extra
country.
accent on this shit and everything,
like,
man.
they was like, you might as well piss on the flag. You hate your country.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they was
it's like,
talking crazy.
whoa. Like, I'm just trying to make 800 million for in 2 years. Is that okay? But nah.
Nah, man, they didn't like that shit. It was like, go ahead, you know what I'm saying? You might as well join ISIS if you're gonna go over there and play golf. Like that's just crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what they was on. And now the switch up is, hey, we're just trying to stay afloat, as if the PGA Tour hasn't been making money forever. Now, granted, I understand that the PGA Tour does not have oil money. Like,
No.
they don't have Saudi Arabian oil money. I get that, but they got money. So, like, let's not pretend. Um,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna make
anyway,
a Busta Rhymes A-Rap money reference, but I'm not trying to get canceled today, Mark. So I'm gonna let that one go.
all right,
I'm
we'll let it go.
gonna
But
let that
man,
one go.
But we can go ahead and move on to more interesting news. I just thought this was something interesting that we all need to be paying attention to how this goes, and what's the fallout of it eventually. But in more interesting news, you and I, we might have to become bitter rivals, friend. I might have to spit on your grave. It seems like.
See, now if you're doing all that, that's just how you feel, bro. Just tell me how you really feel, Mark. So you mean
Hey.
a football game, foosball? Foosball is gonna make you spit on my grave, Mark? That's crazy.
Hey man, that's what it's seeming like out here in these streets, baby.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
hey, Waterboy mom was right. You know what I'm saying? Foosball the devil, man. I'm telling you.
Hey man,
That's
like
crazy.
I'm just saying there's a lot of animosity between your team and my team. like your team and my team seems to be going back and forth. Hey man, you say that until you hear the remarks from these San Francisco morning show people talking about my team.
I already told you I don't listen to them San Francisco morning show people. I don't listen to none of them. They never mind. Continue, Mark. Go ahead. I don't fuck with them. Go ahead.
But yeah, man. So exactly, Debo got into his feelings this morning. Everybody's talking trash about us, and most of the time we're sitting over here twiddling our thumbs, just chilling. But a lot of hate gets thrown this way, and then they point at us like we did it. Like how is that, Shawn? I'm just gonna first I'm just gonna ask you, like, what's your general opinion of the going ons in this quote unquote new rivalry between our teams?
I'll be honest with you, man. I feel like part of it is starting to feel generated. And not by the media, Mark. I'm saying, well, partially by the media, but I feel like it's being generated by the organization. I feel like well, look at this, man. The Niners, we've had rivals over the years, right? We've had the Cowboys, we've had Green Bay, we've had the Seahawks, and let's be honest, the Cowboys thing is dead, right?
Right.
The Packers thing is dead. They just can't beat us in the playoffs, right? And then now you have the Seahawks who are, they're not the Seahawks no more. So I feel like the media, since now, but not just the media, but everybody that has dollars to gain from the situation is looking for that new rival for the Niners. And it organically happened during that NFC Championship game, Mark. But now I just feel like the coaches in the locker room, you got GMs. Mark, when have you heard a GM speak on a rivalry or speak ill on an opposing team like that, like the way that you heard from Lynch?
Hey, man,
I'm just saying.
I
feel like people are invested into this that shouldn't be, and I feel like that's where a lot of this is coming from, Mark.
Hey man, we'll see. We'll see in the end we'll see what happens. But I'm just going to say that your team they're Tom Petty, and they not and they lack this thing called proof. I don't know what it is, but it's a sad state that we're in right now. Actually, I'm gonna bring up what was said on the morning show right now, so people can hear it, know exactly what I was talking about, and so you can hear it, because I don't think you heard it.
No, I haven't heard it, but I don't pay attention to all that nonsense. But go ahead.
All right. Okay. All right. So here it is.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Philadelphia. This goes back to my original problem. Oh, our fans, we're tougher than anyone. No, you're lower life scumbags more than anyone, and I'm sick of it. We've perpetuated this. It's okay to be a dirty, crappy fan in Philadelphia because that's what Philly fans do. That I'm so sick of it. If Niner fans did this, okay, you know what they would file it under? Thugs. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
You know why? Because our fan base looks a little different than the Philadelphia fan base.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've been to both stadiums. All right. I'm so sick of this. We do this thing with Philadelphia fans. You don't know what's coming for you. What? A bunch of low-life scumbags cussing and swearing and throwing things at people?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sick of it. And you know what? Good for Debo for hanging up on him. Screw Philadelphia.
Yo, that's wild, Mark. Hey, dog, he jumped right into the fire right away. Look, I look, you know what it sounds like to me, Mark? It sounds like, and I don't want anybody that's part of the Niners fan base to take this personally. Sounds like a bunch of entitled, spoiled, whether you media, fans, whatever it is, man. Mark, we've had it good, then we've had it bad, then we've had it good, then we've had it bad, then we've had it good. You know how many freaking NFC championships we've gotten to see our teams playing? Like we've even through the bad times, we still have it good, Mark. Okay. And it sounds like, look, I'll be honest with you. In general, our fans are usually the happy-go-lucky fans. Like they're exactly typically what you would expect a fan to act like. Like, I mean, what the ownership would want their fans to act like. Oh, they come up, they come to the games, they show up, they show out, they cheer the team on. If you lose, it's like, don't worry, we'll get them again next time. That's usually how our fan base is. And I feel like this is a direct attack to say that, you know what, you guys hold your teams accountable, and that's ridiculous of you. You're not a fan. That's almost like what and then they're saying, oh, and then you guys are so passionate that you're coming at the fans of the other team, and that's not very couth of you. And it's like that's passion. That's what a fan is. Fan is short for fanatic, Mark. So I don't understand. Like it just. But either way, let me just get to the point with this guy right here. He's just salty. I don't even know how to explain. I don't know what happened to him or what's going on in his life that he felt like he had to go on that.
I could tell you. I could tell you.
Go ahead.
I could tell you. So when you guys came to the NFC, when you came to the NFC Championship game last year, you remember, like this guy was like, we're going to march down Broad Street into the stadium, and we're going to take over the Eagles Stadium, this, that, and the third. And then they went and they did the thing with the Rocky statue and all that, and all that stuff. And well, when they gathered the troops to walk down and into the stadium and shit, well, it wasn't a pleasant walk. Because, as it shouldn't have been, like, it's a group of 49er fans that thought they was going to be like, yeah, 49ers, up and down the Philadelphia street where people are tailgating, like, because the way the stadium was set up, the street that they were coming down, like, people are outside their cars tailgating and shit, waiting to go into the game and all that. Like, so people are drunk tailgating out there and all that. And, like, so you're like, 49ers, fuck yeah, the Eagles are dumb. The Eagles are dumb. They're stupid, whatever. You're saying all that. And meanwhile, the Eagles fans are like literally coming at you with like the craziest insults you could think of. Because like you're like, oh, the Eagles suck. They're dumb. And these motherfuckers are like, your team is shit. Your mom's shit. And everybody that's in your family is shit. Like, because you're a 49ers fan. Like, and it's like,
yeah, but
you don't know how to. He didn't know how to handle that, and like, and they were just getting berated to hell, and they thought they were going to be able to take over this fan base, which was stupid. Like, I don't think.
But that's the thing. Like I said, we're a pampered fan base. Let's call it what it is, man. Like nobody's afraid to come play in San Francisco. Nobody's ever been afraid to go play in San Francisco, except for when it was Candlestick Park. And you had to trample through the mud after a baseball game, right? Like nobody really, you know what I'm saying? It's not a hostile environment. When they talk about loudest stadium,
I'm not gonna let you do that. Y'all stab people out there. Stop that.
No, you must be thinking about the Raiders. They be stabbing more people. But that's what
no, hold up. So you're not going to deny that you stab people. You're just going to say the Raiders do it.
It's happened a couple of times, but
the Raiders just happen to do it.
I will venture to say that Raiders fans and Eagles fans will probably stab more people than Niners fans.
Whoa, stop it.
But-
Stop it. You
but-
have never heard of an Eagle fan stabbing anyone. Stop it. That has never been a report.
Okay, I'll go
Never,
look it
that
up.
has
But
never been a report.
besides the point, Mark. The point here is
No, that is the point. It's not besides the point.
no.
That is the point.
The point, because the point I'm trying to make is that man said if we acted the way that the Eagles fans acted, then we would be called thugs because our fan bases look different.
Now, hold up.
That's
Now,
a
when I
crazy
heard
statement.
when I heard that, I was like, is he saying that the Eagles fan base is white? Or like
I don't know what he's saying, Mark. I'm trying to understand. So when he said that shit, I was like, this dude's bugging, right? So now I'm thinking to myself, does he think he's a Raiders fan? All that stuff has been said about Raiders fans. I ain't never heard nobody say the 49ers fans are a bunch of thugs. I ain't never heard that, Mark.
hey, Devon, at least we'll give you the fair one. We just not we'll give you the fair one. We might fuck you up, but we'll give you the fair one. Now, but we not pulling out knives. We not pulling out weaponry. Like we'll give you the fair one.
Look, man. But the point of the matter is this, man. You know certain places are hostile environments. And I'm saying that to say this, and the reason why I brought up the Raiders because I was going to bring up the Raiders for this point as well.
No.
Especially when the Raiders was playing in Oakland, do you think the 49ers, if they were playing against Oakland in that type of a championship game or atmosphere, that they would have marched down the streets in Oakland like that? Hell no, Mark. No, they
Like I
would
don't
not.
know why you thought that was okay. Like,
I just don't understand the thought process of what was going on. It's like, but I chalk it up to it being a California thing. People from California only know California exists. They don't know about anything else. They just know California exists. They never leave. They like New York. Why would I want to go to New York? They don't go nowhere, man. They just know California and that's it. They think they're gonna go to the East Coast, go to a city on the East Coast, which is crazy. And just walk up and down the streets talking crazy. Not because that's the problem, Mark. You're not just talking about the team, you're talking about the city too. And,
right.
And if somebody showed up to San Francisco and started talking about San Francisco, people that live in San Francisco probably agree, like, yeah, that's crazy. We get the prices crazy out here. This is nuts. Like you go
right.
to a city on the East Coast and start talking about the city, man. Somebody's gonna fuck you up, man. Like
Yeah, like
I mean, it's a cultural difference, man. I don't know, man. But I'm not gonna lie, man. That right there, Mark, is why I don't listen to the 49ers media folks that have radio shows.
I when he was saying that, I was like, what is he trying to say? Is he saying that they have a higher they have a higher class of fan base? And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I was like, in my head, all I was like, I don't know what this is, but I know it's racial. I can't. I was like, I don't know exactly. I was like, I don't know exactly what this is, but I know it's racial. Like, I was like, I don't know which way he's talking about it though. But
yeah,
it was crazy.
Jerry with the Silicon Valley jokes. Okay. People get stabbed with processors out here. Okay.
Anyway, but look, man, we play each other again. And apparently it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a rivalry. So,
Mark, I'm going to predict during that game, there's going to be on the field and in the crowd scuffles.
Well, I'm gonna let you know this, that as far as the Eagles fans are concerned, we don't like you ever had somebody be mad at you and hate you and you you're like completely unaware. Like you're like, oh shit,
yeah.
for real? Like, why you got beef, dog? I didn't know. Like, that's pretty much the Eagles fan base in this situation. Like, for real, like, why do y'all feel that way? Like, this is very one-sided. Like, we don't care. But clearly you guys do. So it'll be interesting, man.
Look, man. Brass knuckles, y'all are going too far, dog. Ain't nobody walking around with brass knuckles. And Imagine sneaking brass knuckles into a football game. Like
Hey,
that's crazy. But that's nah. I don't think there's gonna be no brass knuckles. But nah, there's gonna be.
So Jerry, you saying this is about to turn into the Warriors?
Come out to play.
Like that's what's about to happen.
Hey
about
man,
to be scuffles at midnight.
If they show up with the leather vest with the, with
the jersey numbers on.
You know what I'm saying? The baseball. If I see them roll up with baseball jerseys on,
it's about to be a rumble for real.
But that's what I'm gonna say is. I think that you're gonna keep hearing about the comments between the players and all that stuff, and anybody on either team that says anything about the other team is going to get highlighted because they've been trying to push the Niners to the forefront. Big market, big team, legacy team. They've been trying to push us to the forefront in the media for the last 2.5 years, I would say. So at that point, yes, this is a rivalry that they want to keep brewing because as it looks, Mark, to me, in my eyes, these two franchises, not just teams, these franchises are head and shoulders above everybody else in the NFC. And this looks like this isn't something that's going to go away. We're going to be playing each other often in the playoffs. So, yeah.
I mean, let me ask you, honestly, do you really believe that? That your team is playoff bound this year?
I do. I do believe we're playoff bound. And I'll be honest with you, the issue with the NFC is the strength of the NFC. And right now, teams are still the teams that I should be concerned about are just getting their legs under them. Teams like Detroit, teams like you
have an uncertainty that no other team has. Really, like
we do, but what I will tell you,
you have no idea who your quarterback is.
But I will say this, Mark. I will say this: we've had bad quarterback play before and still made it to the playoffs, and then have that quarterback not even throw passes, and then still have us advance through the playoffs. Okay, so
but none of them were Sam Darnold.
That is true. That is true. But what I'm saying is this: if you look at Mark, this is the thing, man. Especially when you look at
Sam Darnold got the sixth sense, dog. Like,
what are you talking about, bro? You telling me during a time where they're letting in seven teams in the playoffs that we can't get the 7th spot in a 17-game season?
All I'm saying is.
All you have to do is go 9-8.
My issue is that they're billing your team as the number 2 contender, or
I don't agree with that, Mark. But I
number
agree
1 contender
in the playoffs. One of two things happens: either we win our division because our division is weak, or we end up as a wild card team, as the 7th team getting into the playoffs, Mark. But either way, we're not going to have the best record in the NFC. We're not going to be one of the top 3 teams in the NFC. I can guarantee you that. And then, but that's the point is right now, is Arizona going to keep us out of the playoffs? Are the Rams going to keep us out of the playoffs?
I don't know. Maybe the
Seahawks do. That's the only team that can. But you see what I'm saying? Like, we don't. And then are the Saints going to do it?
I'm just saying, like, you guys don't want to play Trey Lance because you're afraid that if you play him, his stock value will go down, and you are vehemently trying to trade him.
I don't even understand why they care about that anymore. It's already been shown that he don't got no value on the market, right. So we keep playing this stupid game.
Clearly,
I know what you mean. Yes,
but clearly the team does. So they're not going to play him, and they're going to. And so Sam Darnold is the guy that you're starting the season with. And like I said, you're starting the season with the guy that has the 6th sense. The last time I've heard him speak, he said he sees ghosts out there on the field. So, like, You're starting a guy that sees Bruce Willis.
Let me just stop
regularly.
you right there, because what Sam Darnold did last year, everybody, I guess you're forgetting about what happened last year at the end of the season for like the last 5 or 6 games, where he actually came in and not just won games, but he looked great. Now, do I think that he's not as great as he looked towards the end of the season last year? I do believe he's not as great, but he wasn't seeing ghosts, Mark, and that's a good sign. Now, with that said, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, but when you look at somebody like Jimmy G, who's thrown 2 touchdowns and 5 picks in all of the playoffs games that he's been in with the 49ers, then I mean the standard is very low when it comes to us getting into the playoffs. Okay? I'm just telling you. I believe that our defense is good enough. Our game planning, strictly because nobody has a defense or molds their defense in the image of trying to stop the run. The style of football that we play will get us there. Now, if you want to say you don't believe we're a top 2 team in the league or a top 2 team in the NFC, I'm not going to argue with you there. But the NFC is just weak enough to where we're going to get in. We're going to get in regardless, is what I think. So, but with that said, Mark, let's say we get in as the 7th seed, and then y'all get in as the 1st seed. If we win our first round game, then we playing y'all. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're going to play each other one way or another. We're going to play each other in the playoffs. And I believe that a lot of the media, picking at, and asking these questions and bringing up the soreness, bringing that out of the Niners players every time they interview them. I believe that's by design, Yeah. So, but the Niners players don't have to answer, but they're. I feel like at this point they're searching for anybody with a mic to say something. So,
yeah, and yeah, they're pretty much just searching for people to say something, and they know that no matter what, they go up to Debo, they're going to get a sound clip because Debo is a crybaby and he can't let it go. So no matter what, if we talk to Debo, we're going to get something. But yeah, man, I just want to put it out there that I don't believe that. Oh, no matter what happens in this playoff picture down the road for the NFL, I think that the Eagles ain't a sure thing at number 1. They're not a sure thing at number 2 neither. I think that no matter what happens, they're going to have to earn it, especially given their schedule.
But I do.
So I just want to put that out there that like this, it ain't a cakewalk for the Eagles either. It's just like we certainly set ourselves up for us to be the best, but but the NFL is fickle. So
yeah, but I'll say so with that said, I just think that like I said, the NFC is just weak. So like I don't think it's going to be a season to where it was like last season where you guys just had 14, 15 wins or whatever. Like, I do believe the number 1 team in the NFC will end up with a record closer to maybe 12 wins, 12, maybe 13. But it is, which obviously if you get 13 wins, that means you got 4 losses, right? So like, yeah, it's going to be closer to 12 to 13 wins. Niners should get Mason Rudolph. Boy, if you don't get the hell out, can we mute him? Can I block him for like temporarily? Can I just, let me see, put user in timeout? I might, hey, Devon, I'm telling you right now, buddy. I'm telling you right now, man, my finger's on the button. I'll do it. Anyways. Y'all got us week 1, and Robert Kraft is an idiot for making that game to honor Brady. That is, what do you make of that, Mark? Is that disrespect?
I think that it's wild. It's a wild thing to do. That's something that it's something you should do during the preseason or some shit. Like, that's not something you should do in an actual game when, like, I just think that's weird. I think it's kind of weird.
I'm going to tell you why it's weird, Mark. You already okay. Eagles feel like they should have won a Super Bowl already. Then you got a situation. So they're not the Super Bowl winners who are content. They are hungry, Mark. Your team is hungry. All right. Now they got to deal with these dudes trying to celebrate Tom Brady. We already know
And
how
also,
the Eagles give it up when it comes to Tom Brady, right? So then now you're giving them extra motivation to come in there and bust your head because like I'm about to ruin Tom Brady's day today. They're gonna love that shit, man. I'm just saying I don't know what they're doing.
But here's the like I also don't like, but I mean this is just a personal note. For every year that I've been watching football, like at least let's say the last 10 years at least, they have made it a tradition that the Super Bowl teams play each other week one of the like they are the opening to the Super Bowl competing teams are the opener to this season. They pretty much they have made that to where they play each other week one. And now all of a sudden they moved it to somewhere way in the middle of the year. The Chiefs and the Eagles. I'm like, man, I wanted that September Chiefs Eagles game. And now I'm getting a cold Chiefs Eagles game. Not happy about it. And I gotta watch the Eagles play a trash team week one.
A trash team. Oh man, how you feel about that, Robert? You know what I'm saying? The man said
Well, he
trash
knows his
team.
team trash. He
So you
he
gotta play
knows his
that
team
trash
trash.
team week one. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I gotta watch a dude about to give birth on the field
Look,
throw a football.
man. Look, man, that's crazy. That's disrespect right there. That's disrespect. But that's what y'all gonna do to him on the field too. So I mean, how is it gonna be viewed as anything but disrespect when they're trying to honor somebody's name and then they're getting their skull cracked? I don't even understand it, Mark.
I don't even know, man.
Like who's in charge of the PR? Who is it? Who came up with this day? That shit. You know what? It's not as bad as though. It's not as bad as the wire hanger figure of Sean Taylor inside the Washington facility because they didn't put it outside. You know, they didn't put a statue outside. They put up some wire hangers and threw a jersey on it and said, "That's our in memory of Sean Taylor." That's crazy, but this is going to be something like that.
Now listen, I'm glad that Robert brought this up because this takes us right into our next, which I wanted to bring up here. Robert says, "I agree. Until Jones is out of there, we not doing shit. Even if we get D Hop and Cook, look who is throwing to him." It's perfect that he brought up D Hop and Cook, simply because I did want to talk about the fact that I want to start with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook did not accept the offer from the Miami Dolphins. And it was reported that Dalvin Cook is looking for a contract that pays him at least $10 million for the year. And it was reported that Miami is well under that. And so when they say well under that, I'm thinking like they offered him like $6 million.
Look, let me just speak on that real quick, man. You know who the coach is over there? Do you the ex run game coordinator for the Niners? Do you know what his track record is? Dog, that man is saying, "Find me the running back that nobody wants. Find me the most injury prone dude." Look, that's the philosophy here. You think Dalvin Cook, you think you're gonna pay extra for you when he's been able to get production out of everybody? Hell no, man. He should have known he wasn't going to get a right offer from Miami. But
hey, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit the like button while you're there. But yeah, like 100%. Okay, so he says, Rob says, I live in Florida. They said it was like 4.5 to 5 mil. And see, here's now this is what I want to talk about is that is flat out disrespectful. 4.5 to 5 mil to a guy that is essentially 1,000-yard runner every single season. Yes, he has missed games, and stuff of that nature. But we do know, but he has not. But we do know that he is a baller and that he puts it all out there on the field. Um, I just wanted to talk about the fact that the situation is getting bad for running backs, and it might be time you might start seeing players start making business decisions and refusing to play the position. Because it seems like there's no money in the position. Um, like why would I want to, like, it's one of the positions that is you're most likely to get injured at that position, and there's no money in it.
Well,
Why
yeah,
would I
but
sign up to play that position?
the average lifespan of an NFL running back is 3.5 years. You not getting paid, your body gonna be trash, and then even when you do play at the highest level, like you are considered to be a top 3 or the best running back in the league,
Right.
they still look at you and say that you're not even worth $8 million, Le'Veon Bell. So like, so you can't, like, and I'm going to be very clear about the Le'Veon Bell thing. Like, Le'Veon Bell was on the path to being, let's call it what it is. He was on the path to being possibly a top 5, top 8 running back of all time. And they're just like, dog, we ain't even going to give you $8 million. So like at that point, it's like, well, fuck it. Well, nobody can get money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then now you're looking at it, and then even if you're, let's say you're somebody who's like Jeff Wilson, right? You Jeff Wilson Jr. You're that type of running back to where you know that you're going to be a system running back wherever you go. And then you still got to deal with the injuries. And then you're definitely not getting paid. And then you're working on 2-year contracts and 1-year contracts until you're just maybe 27, 28 years old, and then you out of the league. Like, it's not even worth it if you're one of those guys, man. Like, there's no worth in it, man. There's no worth in being a running back. The only running back that I've seen get paid, Mark, there's been 2 running backs in NFL history that I've seen get paid. And those names are Christian McCaffrey and Emmitt Smith. Those are the only 2 running backs I've seen get paid.
I don't know. Derrick Henry.
He didn't get what Christian McCaffrey got.
I mean, no, he didn't. But
that's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is Christian McCaffrey ain't the first running back to put out that level of usage or production.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, Adrian Peterson also got paid in this time. Well, what was to get
at the time,
but that was, that when Adrian Peterson got paid, they viewed the running back position a little bit differently than they do.
But I want to be clear that even if you're a running back and you're carrying the team and you're the lifeblood of the team, you're not going to get paid as you're not going to get paid. No, Ricky Williams did not. You do not get paid as a player that's carrying the team offensively. Even if
the only person, and it's funny because certain people that have gotten that, it has come back to bite the team in certain ways. Zeke. like Zeke was overpaid. Like Zeke deserved.
Okay, Zeke is somebody that I missed that got paid. Zeke did get paid.
Zeke deserved to be paid, but he was still overpaid. And
yeah, no,
and it was and then the way it all shook out, it was like, well, look, like this, they used that as a feather in the cap to say, well, we should pay you absolute dog shit. Like, it's like there has to be a middle ground. It can't be we pay you the highest heights of everything, or we pay you absolute trash. Like, it has to be a middle ground somewhere.
But that's the problem, Mark. There is no middle ground right now. And I'll say this, things that have happened in the past, such as, I'm going to bring up those 2 scenarios. Those are the 2 biggest scenarios to me that I feel have dictated how bad the market is today. Is number one, you have the Le'Veon Bell situation. Let's be honest. when he held out and he said he was leaving and all this other stuff, let's be honest, man. Everybody, even the media, thought that Le'Veon Bell was going to get paid somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody did. And then when it turns out he didn't, and then he ended up getting less money than he would have gotten if he would have just stayed with the Steelers, then that kind of let owners know that, we were scared for a minute, but that lets us know that we have ultimate power.
It didn't let no owners know anything. We know what we do know is that this is active collusion against the position.
Okay, well, let's go there. Let's say that was active collusion. That's fine. Then, but once again, then you have the Zeke situation. That was the second situation. From now on, everybody's going to point to, hey, look at the Zeke situation, dog. Look at the Zeke situation. These fools can't pay their players because Zeke has too much money. And then now you turn around and look, the person running behind Zeke is better, right? And at that point, they're like, well, why are we wasting our money on this? And they gave Zeke a good amount of guaranteed money with the contract too. So now they're going to be like, yo, this is what happens. This is what happens when you pay them. They show up the next year and they play like they don't want it, right?
No,
it's like, call it what it is. They're going to say, that's what they're going to say. They're going to be like, look at the way that Zeke runs after he gets his money, right? We got to keep these dudes hungry. So yeah, it's going to be a situation. Yeah, thank you, man. LT was underpaid at the running back position. I agree. Like, but that's the point I'm trying to say is the only, like, for the level for what they meant for their team, I feel like Christian McCaffrey is the guy that got the money that he deserved.
Right.
I don't feel like he was overpaid for what he was doing for the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
Everybody knew that Zeke's situation was different. They had by far the best offensive line in the league. The way that Dak was playing at that time was crazy. Okay. They had a lot going on other than Zeke. And yet they decided to pay Zeke as if he was the backbone to the entire thing. So,
like I said, Zeke deserved to be paid. He just didn't deserve to be paid,
but not like that.
And but so like that, like this whole situation, I feel as though there is a solution in this situation. Like, I think the solution lies somewhere, and I think running back contracts should be shorter. I think they should. I think even as a rookie, I think a rookie contract for a running back should be no longer than 3 years, and I think that every running back contract should be like within 3-year terms, and you get paid accordingly. So that way you can make your money. Like you could get paid $10 million. And within the prime of your running back lifespan, like within the prime of a running back's lifespan, you could get paid a decent amount that is respectable to what the position means to the team, and still not cost the team so much down the line. Because what ends up happening, you end up in a Zeke situation where you have a 5-year contract with a guy with all this guaranteed money, and now he burns out 2 years into that big contract, or 3 years into that big contract, and now you got 2 more years that you like, oh, you got to figure out what you're going to do with them, this, that, and the third. If these were 3-year contracts, if he burnt out 2 years into that contract, it's only 1 more year left. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you can either see what he's going to do with that last year, or you could cut him. And he still made his money. He still made a decent wage within that year. He's not making $4 million while doing 25 carries a game. Like, yeah. So like that. So that's a little bit, I think that would be a little bit more respectable to help figure that out. But as it is now, these guys that are coming into the league, they're going to have to start making business decisions. Like, hey, you know what? List me as a receiver. because I'm not a running back.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it. And that's the thing. Everybody's throwing to the running backs now. Like the running back usage is weird. We don't like the way that they're using them because they're not running them, but they're definitely getting the touches, man. Like they're definitely getting the touches. So but yeah, so one concept when it comes to the running backs that I've never look, matter of fact, I'm speaking on it right now. We will go ahead and bring this one up. Okay. But then you'll have RBs asking for like 12 to 15 mil per year on a 3-year deal. Now here's my answer to you on this, Rob. I've never been opposed to the idea that you don't give running backs guaranteed money. Never opposed it. I understand. Business-wise, it makes sense. These dudes could get injured. And then when they get injured, because this is just a higher risk for injury when you're a running back, especially if they're good and you're feeding them, right? So you don't give them the guaranteed money like you gave Zeke. But what you do is you try to compensate them by their workload. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying incentive-laden contracts because let's be honest, the team will pull your ass out and sit you on the bench to make sure you don't get that. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm saying if you're a 25 carry a game dude, plus you're getting 10 catches like your Christian McCaffrey, then guess what? You're gonna get your, let's say Christian McCaffrey, 20 mil. Christian McCaffrey deserves 20 mil. I'm only guaranteeing 10 million of that. Okay, if we need to move him, if he gets hurt or anything happens to where we need to move on from him, he's not killing us in the cap. Like, a lesser guy, like let's say your standard running back that does pretty decent and then comes up on a contract, I'm not offering them 12 to 15. I'm offering them 10 mil. But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like these guys ain't even getting 10 mil.
They're
That's the problem. That's the problem.
That's the conversation we're having.
And we're talking about 10 mil where they're not even giving them guaranteed money. They're not even doing that. Like if you look at the contracts they do give them, if you do get 10 mil as a running back, they're guaranteeing you like 2 to 3 mil of that.
Like offering Dalvin, like just flat out offering Dalvin Cook $4.5 million is disrespectful.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook is somebody that I would put in the 12 to 15 range, but there ain't a lot of running backs like Dalvin Cook. So you say guys asking for 12 to 15. No, the only guys that will be asking for 12 to 15 are the top 5 running backs in the league. Guys that have that type of a resume. You know what I mean?
Right. Most guys would be paid within the realm of 7 mil to 10.
Yeah, like you tell me what that Vikings offense would look like with Kirk Cousins with no Dalvin Cook. Run that man his money, man.
Yeah, without Dalvin Cook or Madison, like
run them their money, man. Like that's what I'm saying. Like just pay them. Just pay them what they're worth, man. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. You don't even got to guarantee it. Just offer them a contract for what they're worth. And there's a way that you can do that. Whether you want to front load it, because that would be the smart way to do it too. Front load it. If you want to give them guaranteed money, give them the guaranteed money in the first year. You know what I'm saying? Because you're worried about them, the wear and tear. You're worried about them getting injured. If they get hurt the first year in a 3-year contract and we cut him the next year because all of his guaranteed money and all his, shit was up front, then cool. Now they restructure contracts every day, man. And they find ways to make these contracts interesting enough to where they can manage to pay everybody all the time when it comes to a quarterback. They do all kind of crazy restructuring and all kind of incentives and all kind of tricks to make sure that they're under the cap for them. You tell them you can't break Dalvin Cook off 10 million.
Yeah. Now you just brought up Stevenson is asking for 11. That don't mean I gotta give him 11.
He can get out of here. He can get out of here for 11.
Yeah, he don't. I don't have to give him 11. Like, but like I would be like, okay, I can meet you at 8. Like,
8
or I can meet you at 8 or 9. Like, you know what I mean?
I would thank you. Offer him 8. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if Dalvin Cook got offered 4.5,
yeah,
that means somebody's offering Stevenson 3 mil.
No, if he didn't get offered. If Dalvin Cook got offered 4.5, that means they're offering Stevenson 2.
I was being nice, Mark. I said 3. I was being nice, but you get what I'm saying though. That's
Yeah.
so you have to,
and like $2 million is disrespectful. Like
it's disrespect.
Like it's like 2 million is the 2 million is a minimum for some late veterans. Like you're offering young running backs that are in the prime of their ability minimums for late career tackles.
Yeah, but
that's crazy.
And this is exactly what I was talking about though when I was talking, or this is exactly what Mark was talking about when he said middle ground. We're assuming the bottom or what he would be getting offered is 2 mil, and what he's asking for is 11. Why is there no middle ground there? Like why is there no middle ground? That man Dalvin Cook, I don't even feel like he asked for that much. 10 mil? That's not a lot. That's not a lot. He asked for 10 mil, they offer him 4.5. Dog, you telling me you couldn't offer him 6? Like 4.5, that's hella disrespectful, man. That's crazy. But they're doing that in part because what Mark said, it's definitely collusion. Like it's definitely collusion. You telling me right now, okay, the Dolphins in the situation that they're in couldn't offer him more than 6 mil when they're not paying anybody. They're paying Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. They're not paying anybody, bro. You telling me they can't break off 6 mil for Dalvin Cook, 7 mil? Like that's crazy. And they just were supposed to go to the playoffs and were favored to make it to the end of the AFC Championship, and then they didn't even make it, bro. Like you talking about that Miami team that actually needs some type of normalcy at running back. So you telling me that team can't even offer them 6 mil? That's crazy.
Yeah, but moving along from the running backs, you have D-Hop. And we'll do this very quickly, but you have on the other side, D-Hop still hasn't signed with anyone. Do you think the D-Hop situation? Hold on, I want to just bring this. They want to pay Dalvin Cook less than what a franchise tag is, which is 10 million. Exactly.
And then he should get 10 million. Yeah, thank you. This ain't rocket science, bro. This ain't rocket science. And the fact that the franchise tag is 10 million is crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, D-Hop still hasn't signed with a team. There's several reasons why this could be. I'm going to ask you first though. Why do you think he has yet to sign with a team?
D-Hop? I feel like D-Hop has not signed with a team because I feel like it's a few things now at this point. I feel like part of it is whenever vets, especially injury-prone vets, start to be indecisive in the offseason, I start to just believe that, you know what, they're getting the rest. I don't think it's coincidence that he doesn't have a team during OTAs. I don't think that's an accident, right? So I think that's part of it, but then I also believe that he has a few ideas of where he wants to play. He probably already knows, got it narrowed down to about 2 to 3 teams. But like I said, he's going to wait it out to try to get signed maybe during preseason. So I feel like that's a big part of it. I'm sure there's teams out there that would love to have him and they would pick him up right now if he wanted to. And I believe that any team that he sees fit that he wants to go to will take him. So the only thing that makes sense to me, Mark, is that he's waiting this shit out.
Okay. And that's pretty much the conclusion I came to as well, is that maybe more than likely he's waiting it out so he doesn't have to do OTAs and shit like that. But let me ask you, man, if that's the case, you go into a new team and and you being in an important position that requires timing and things of that nature, do you want a player that doesn't want to show up to OTAs to figure that out? He wants to wait till pretty much regular season to do that shit. Like,
I'll be honest with
like
you.
that.
Me personally, no, I don't want that player. But what I do believe is it depends on if you believe that all wide receivers are divas. Because if you believe that they're all divas, you're like, he's a wide receiver. Fuck it, man. Like, this is what they do. I already know what I'm getting into, and because of his accomplishments up to this point, you can just kind of assume that he's going to want to kind of do things his way. I mean, wide receivers, I never blame wide receivers for acting this way, Mark, to be honest with you, because wide receivers have no control over anything. Wide receivers, let's be real, wide receivers can't demand trades. Wide receivers they can't even demand the ball. They just go out there, they run routes and hope that when they get open, that the quarterback sees them and can get the ball to them. They're dependent on everybody for every single thing that they do and their entire livelihood. Whether they get the big contract that they deserve depends on whether or not you have a competent quarterback back there. All right. First, for most people. So yes, obviously it's not the case for D-Hop, but at the same time, if the one piece of the pie that you want to control is whether or not you go to OTAs, if I'm a team picking you up, then I'm gonna let that rock. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely, Mark. But like I said, me personally, no, I'm not accepting that because I would run my franchise. And don't take this the wrong way, I would run that shit something like the Steelers or the Patriots. Like, look, man, we here to work, we here to win. Show up on time. We're not doing that preferential treatment shit. We expect everybody to come in here and be ready to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough. But let's get into the juice of yes, and Jerry, you are absolutely right. He is past his prime. I have more that I would love to talk about D-Hop about, but I'm pretty sure he'll come up again. In the meantime, there's something that we really want to talk about, which is this NBA formatting, the tournament formatting. Shawn,
mid-season tournament, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take it away. You seem to understand it better than I. So,
okay.
Please.
Before we get into the video here, we're going to talk about. Everybody knows about the mid-season tournament they've been talking about for the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. It's a real thing. It's happening now. This will be the first season that it takes place, and it takes place over the course of November to December. All teams will be a part of it. Yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying? There's actually, I'm going to get into the other stuff once we watch this video, but you guys understand what's happening here. There's a mid-season tournament, and there's incentives for people to play. They're trying to get viewership back to the NBA regular season, but we'll see how it goes with this format. Let's take a look at it.
All right, everybody, the NBA first ever in-season tournament is now official. But how does it work? Like this. First up is group play. All 30 teams will be split into 6 groups, 3 from the East, 3 from the West, with a random draw based on last year's regular season records. Each team in a group plays each other 1 time, a total of 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road.
Okay, man. It's already confusing, Mark. Let's talk about this. They said there's going to be 3 groups. They're going to be separated, and it's all going to be based on the record, but then they use the word randomly. So I don't understand what that means, Mark. Can you explain to me what that means?
They're saying that the games will be random. Like they'll be split into 3 random groups, and then it will be based on their record from the last year.
I think it's the opposite of what you're saying. I think what they're saying is the 3 groups are grouped based on based
Their
on
record.
their actual season record, and then it will be randomized from there. Is what it's
Okay.
So,
All right.
so, but either way, it's already way more complicated than it has to be, Mark. Because you're telling me the record matters, but then you're telling me you're randomizing matchups. I don't understand what it means. But let's continue to watch this video, Mark.
Now, those games happen Tuesdays and Fridays in November, so set your calendar. Basically, these regular season NBA games also count as tournament games.
Okay, so now
there.
there's another wrinkle here, Mark. November, Tuesdays and Fridays. Are there games in between there? I guess there are, but then they're just regular games. So you got tournament games in between regular season games.
But the tournament games are the regular season games.
You see where the confusion is coming, Mark.
That's what he just said.
No. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is, let's say we have, because it said it's only Tuesdays and Fridays. So what I'm saying is, let's say I have a game on Sunday. That game doesn't count for the tournament. My regular season game on Sunday doesn't count for the tournament, but then on Tuesday I have a regular season game.
Actually, you know what? I think I kind of made sense of it. So the way that is going to work is they already going to when they build the schedule, they will build the first part of the tournament into the schedule in November to where you play, like you are supposed to play that team anyway 4 times in the year, right? You're supposed to play that team in 2 times at home and 2 times on the road. You're going to play that first part of the tournament. You're going to do that in November. Like that team that's going to count for your you playing that team for the season. like that's going to count for you playing that team in the season.
Yes, Jerry, I hate it, but I mean, I don't know what gave it away. That's fine.
So that's what it means. Like, so that's the regular season game. The tournament game counts as your regular season game against this particular team.
All right, let's continue.
Now, in each group, the team with the best group play record after those 4 games, they're moving on. The team with the next best record in each conference, those 2 are the wild cards. Always watch out for the wild cards.
Hold on, now stop. Run that back, because that was a lot to say, and it kind of fucked me up in the head. Like,
no, I got it when he said it.
All right, go
okay,
ahead.
so let me go back right here.
Now,
okay, so you got your 3 groups on the East and your 3 groups on the West. Now you have your 2 games at home and your 2 games away that are getting played as the tournament games, and that's what he's saying. The teams that come away with the best record.
In each group, the teams with the best record in each group, because it goes by the grouping. Best group play record after those 4 games, they're moving.
They move on. Okay, after those initial 4 games,
the team with the next best.
And then the next teams are wild card teams. Essentially, Mark, there's 8 teams that move on. I don't know why they're making it complicated by saying there's a wild card team. But
yeah, like that didn't make sense. Like, the fuck is a wild card team in this format?
It would make more sense if a wild card team was playing another wild card team, Mark.
Right.
But a wild card team here just means congratulations, sucker. You got to play the best team.
You last place.
Like, you just, like, oh man. So it's as if we don't get tired of seeing number 1 seeds play number 8 seeds in the playoffs, Mark. We get another version of this. Now, granted, this past season was unlike this past postseason was unlike every other postseason, where you actually had 1 versus 8 be interesting matchups. But let's be real, I'm wondering how this is going to pan out, especially when you might have, I guess they're trying to look at it and say, look, man, you're going to have some of these bottom teams that are hungry, that aren't playing for the playoffs. They have nothing else to play for except for the play-in tournament. And then you have these number 1 teams that are coasting through the season, and these games are meaningless to them, and maybe they slack off in the tournament. and maybe you have a chance for an upset for a number 4, wild card team, Mark. Maybe the wild card team has a chance. They're trying to build it up to say, look, these guys have a chance because they're playing for different things. All right.
Best record in each conference. Those two are the wild cards. Always watch out for the wild cards. Now we get to the knockout round. 8 teams, single elimination. And you know what that means. Win and move on, or lose, and you're out. And the last 4 teams standing, guess what? You're headed to Vegas, baby. That's right. In Las Vegas, the semifinal battles will get us to the championship game on December 9th. 2 teams in a winner-take-all final to be named champion and be awarded the first ever NBA Cup. Come on now. Look, there's a lot.
Okay, let's pause it there. So the semifinals and the finals for this gets played in Vegas. So now you have extra travel depending on where you're located. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to travel to Vegas and have it on a neutral court, which I understand that. Obviously, this is a money thing for Vegas. You know, everything is gearing up for Vegas to get this basketball team. But yeah, Mark. So while we're here, I want to talk about this. How do you think the player? Thank you. It is ludicrous. How do you think the players are going to feel, Mark? The same players that don't want to play 65 games in a season. How do you think that these players are going to feel about it in-season tournament and then having to go to Vegas if they win? Do you think people are going to start throwing games, Mark?
I think 100%. I think teams will throw. I think teams will actively try to lose the tournament.
Yeah, like there you go, man. If I'm a top team, I'm not playing for that BS. I'm playing for the real chip. Thank you, right? So that's the biggest flaw that I see in this whole setup, Mark, is you're trying to create a sense of parity where there is not, because it's like on one hand, you're trying to sell this thing as a great idea and everybody's going to play competitively. But we all know if everybody plays competitively, then the regular season giants are going to wash everybody. Then there is no intrigue, right? It's the same lack of intrigue that happens during the course of the season, except for it's just bottled into a month, right? Mm-hmm. So you creating this whole thing says to me that in your mind, you know that the better teams are going to be resting players. You know the better teams are not going to take this shit serious. You know the better teams are not going to play as hard for this because they're trying to win a chip. God forbid somebody takes an injury for playing too hard during this Fugazi tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like Fugazi championship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's almost like you guys know what's going to happen. And it's almost like you're hoping that the better teams don't show up so that there will be intrigue to say, okay, look, man, the Charlotte Hornets just knocked off the Milwaukee Bucks. Tune in for the semifinals, you know, like they give that shit to the Orlando Magic. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I feel like is happening here. I feel like you're trying to tell me that you're selling this as everybody's going to play hard, but you know that but in order for this to work, everybody can't play hard. In order for it to work,
right?
It's just right. Because if everybody plays hard, it's just going to be more of the same, which is why we don't watch in the first place. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. Boy, is it? Yeah, and I don't like it, man. I don't like it. Let's move on. Let's see if there's any more things added to this video, and then I can go into the extras that we talked about earlier.
A lot to look forward to this season. Players on new teams, rookies new to the league, and teams just looking to make some noise. And the NBA in-season tournament is going to be a can't-miss, must-see, high-stakes, high-level competition. And if you're a hoops head just like me, I promise you, you're going to
must-see, high-stakes, high-level competition. Okay, yeah, let's continue. Yeah, that's man, boy, y'all pushing it hard. But okay, we could move on from that. But the other two things that need are Nah, absolutely not. Do not give me no tickets to that shit, man. Do not give me no tickets to that shit. Anyways, but here's the deal. So if you're a team that wins and you make it to the championship, guess what? Congratulations. You get to play 83 games this season. Because that championship game does not count towards your stats. It does not count towards your record. It doesn't count towards any incentives. It doesn't count as an extra game for your 65 for you to get your seasonal awards. It doesn't count for anything. It's just pride on the line. And we know how,
and we know that NBA players don't got pride.
Thank you. There's a whole lack of pride going on. Like there's no pride. There's no shame, Mark. There's nothing. Okay, so I don't understand what they think is gonna happen here, man. So I'm telling you, if you think Anthony Davis is looking at that and saying, "Man, I can't wait to play a meaningless game in December," do you think Anthony Davis is looking at? Anthony Davis is looking for the next dust particle to trip over, to make sure that he's not engaging in a faux championship in December. Okay,
right?
Maybe I'm going off right now, but I'm telling you right now, I don't know what the NBA is expecting, but they are not going to get what they expect.
I don't know, man.
$500,000. My bad. If you win the championship, the team that wins the championship, each player on that team gets $500,000.
Okay.
So I guess for the younger teams, once again, for the younger teams with the younger players, like let's say a team like OKC, if those guys are in their rookie contracts, they're not really getting that bag like that. They're going to be hungry. They want that $500K, and that's what they're kind of hoping drives them to that point. Anthony Davis ain't showing up for $500K. Here we go. But anyway, going through this whole thing, you've heard how I feel. So what's your feelings on it, Mark?
My feelings on it is that I feel as though, like I said, I feel as though you're going to end up having teams actively trying to throw the tournament. They're not like instead of you're going to get the exact opposite of what your intent is. Your intent is to bring high level play into the regular season by having the beginning of the tournament be regular season games. And what you're going to actually end up getting is teams actively trying to throw the tournament so they don't have to continue to do that shit. And they can focus on the actual regular season and the actual championship. At least that's my belief. I don't know if that to be true or not, but that's my personal belief as to what's going to happen. I mean, you have guys that don't give a fuck about they don't give a fuck about regular season stuff. Like if they're not in the running for the scoring title or for any of these particular titles that will add dollars to their paycheck, then they're not worried about it. And so like they're going to throw it. And if they don't think that there needs to be money in simply advancing. Like basically they need more money thrown into this. Like winning the championship ain't enough. Like they need like basically 500,000 is probably should be like for the second tier of the tournament. Like it's like if you advance past the first round, 250,000 goes to every player on every team that advances past the first round. And then if you advance to the second round, then 500,000 goes to every team that advances to the second round, and so forth and so forth. That's pretty much how that should be, because like Doug, like this is the NBA. These dudes are making $2 million a year and as minimums.
Yeah,
like,
I was just gonna say, Mark. I think the one layer that I just thought about, Mark, is you're really gonna feel you're really gonna find out how the superstar players feel about you as a bench guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I could see this is exactly the type of thing that LeBron would care about and say, you know what? Because I want to be able to stick a feather in my hat, I'm gonna make sure that the guy at the end of the bench, Tristan Thompson, Tristan Thompson, he gets his 500K when he shouldn't be getting 500K for anything that he's doing right now. But you know what? I'm gonna get my boys the bag. LeBron is all about getting people money. Like I can see a situation like that, but then I can also see a situation to where if you're the Clippers, you can expect Paul George and Kawhi to just. I mean, if you're a bench player, like, oh, I could, you know what I'm saying? I'm not making no bread out here, man. 500K would do a lot for me. And they're just like, cool, I got an undisclosed injury. I'll tell you about it once the tournament's over. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
So I mean,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? You're really gonna find out about team chemistry, when the tournament time comes around. Because let's be real, like the 500K is more of an incentive for those guys than it is for the starters.
But yeah,
all in, bro.
So
hey, go ahead.
Here's the thing.
Next comment.
Here's the thing. Like I think that's the way for this to be better, and the way for this to actually be viable is like having to win the whole thing to get 500,000. Like having to get all the way to the end and win the whole thing to get 500,000 is kind of crazy. I do think it should be an incremental buildup. Like, all right, you made it past the first round, 250,000 to every player. And you made it past it, and then it's like, okay, you made it to the second round. Now it doesn't even have to be 500, go up to 500,000, but like 350,000 now, and then like the next one 500,000, and then like you know what I'm saying, and then at the end a million to the team that won, so that when it's all said and done, the team that won ended up with like an extra $2 to $3 million, like you know what I'm saying, versus an extra 500,000. The team that went ended up with an extra $2 to $3 million, and the team that lost, they ended up with an extra like 1.75 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm just throwing numbers out here, but you get it.
Like you want to accumulate over the course, because let's be real. Let's say we got those first 4 games, Mark, and now we lost 2 in a row. Now we have a decision to make. Are we going to play hard for these last 2?
Right.
Are we packing it up, Mark? We packing it up? Like, ain't even no point in going on, right? Or let's say you win. Let's say you win 3 out of the 4. And then you get to the point to where you're like, you know what, man, this is usually around the time I load manage, or this is usually around the time, like, you know what I'm saying? They start getting to the point where it's like, this is the holidays, Thanksgiving's coming. I'm trying to spend time with my family, whatever. You get to that point and you're just like, you know what, man, I really don't feel like playing today. There is no incentive. Unless you believe, unless you're number one, you believe you can win the championship in that scenario, and that number 2, you're actually capable of winning the championship. Those 2 things have to be true for you to have that incentive to say, yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna go all the way and get this bag. But if
don't confuse it. Hey, don't confuse it. Just say capable of winning a tournament. Don't say championship.
Excuse me. I don't want a championship, tournament, whatever. But if you know what I'm saying, if you're the Charlotte Hornets and you already feel like you don't got a chance, what's your incentive to even try in the first round?
Right.
Like
there's none.
That's the problem.
And then like I said, for teams like Milwaukee and stuff like that, or like, for instance, the Warriors, right? The Warriors are paying everybody on that team already. Everybody's everybody's getting paid on that team. 500,000 don't mean shit to a single player on that team. They're going to throw that tournament.
Yeah, that is true. Everybody is getting paid out there. So but even then, you looking at that, I can see like I exclude the Bucks because Giannis is Giannis. He's gonna play hard no matter what. But James Harden, is he?
That's stripper money right there.
Yeah, I'm saying he might, you know what I'm saying, but
Like, hey, that'll pay for a night.
You know, Embiid, do you think he's putting a little extra on it for the midseason tournament?
Nah, man.
That man wouldn't even go play Jokic in Denver. I'm just saying, like, you think he's
exactly? It's not like they gonna have to figure this out, but like though as it is set, I see more teams throwing it than actually giving it
as far as
college try.
As far as I know right now, there is no penalty for if you decide, hey, we're just benching players during the tournament, or there's not going to be any penalty for low managing during the mid-season tournament. So, like, that's another big thing to me, because if there is no punishment, then what's to stop me, Embiid, from saying, I have to get my 65 games in. I'm going to play hard all the way up until the tournament. That way, it gives me plausible deniability. And then I'm going to mark a couple of days during tournament play to say, you know what, my ankle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the perfect time to rest. Because if you don't care about the tournament, those are meaningless games to you. If you're not trying to win the whole thing, then that's a meaningless game. He says 65 games max. That's funny.
Jerry, I believe my magic number is 72.
We talked about this before. We did an episode on this before, Jerry. He says 72.
It's either 72 or 68. Like I
believe you said 72 because it was 10.
I know I said 72. I'm just saying I will go as low as 68.
Yeah, and I believe I may have said 65 to 70 or something like that. But either way, it doesn't need to be 82 games. But I still feel like even if you just bust it down to 70, that gives the games more validity. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So
I think it should be 72 games in the season, almost be just as long as it is currently. So that way there's more rest days for these players.
Yeah, but so here's the deal with that. The whole reason why the NBA doesn't want to do that is because they're talking about TV time.
It's
time
money.
Is ad revenue. It's all about more money.
Yeah, it's all about that.
Yeah. So, but on the back side of that, your revenue looks a lot better. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting the viewership. If you're getting the viewership, you could charge more, and you still break even.
And then not only that, but then that would mean, like, if you had less games, you would have more viewership because there would be more games on. There will be more games on TNT and ESPN and stuff like that. You wouldn't be having games that are on NBA TV and shit because there's less games that you have to show at the same time.
Yeah, that's what you said. You would have more airtime and more space to have games be played on the national networks. So I just feel like this is a situation where less is more. So I think we both agree on that. And I think less can also be more monetarily, or at least be even monetarily. And that's the thing that I'm looking at, because if you're telling me the average NBA game, let's just throw out a random number, average NBA game gets 1 million views. Let's say Kings versus Spurs before Wemby, you know what I'm saying? Like this past year, Kings versus Spurs, you get 1 million. Play 70 games, play 65 games, make that game mean something. And now that one game, let's say you get twice as many views. You should be able to make that make sense dollar-wise. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely, I agree with you, and it's the perfect endpoint for this particular episode. Um, so yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for showing up on a slow news day and joining us. It was a good conversation, Sean. I got to
Yeah,
spit on your grave now.
that's crazy.
Um,
That's
you
crazy.
are a bitter rival. If I had my leather glove, I would smack you with it.
Man, you sound
Um,
like a Niners fan.
hey, you are a Niner. So how
Yeah,
about that?
it's funny.
So how
You
about
sound
that?
like a Niners fan, but I'm the Niners fan that's being humble. You know what I'm saying? The
So
mother
like
Niners
I
fan
said,
ain't me. They ain't me, Mark. You
like I
should be
said,
more like me.
if I had a leather glove, I would smack you with it.
See,
So
that's wild. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's see now I understand why you're saying your team might not finish first or second. You know what I'm saying? It's all that bad karma. You know what I'm saying? It's all that bad karma building up now. I understand
hey,
it.
man,
Maybe
whatever.
they
It
was
is
right
what it
about the Philly fans. Maybe they was right.
is. Maybe they were. Um, but all I know is that we not out here turning into the to the Deftones and having knife parties. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's all I do know. That we not out here turning into the Deftones.
I got nothing for that.
All right. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining. Link, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Catch you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Know this was a little late, but yeah, 8 p.m. next Tuesday. See you guys. Yeah, that's it. Peace.
Peace.